You're breathing right now, but are you actually aware of it? Most of us go through the day disconnected from the one rhythm that sustains our life, the breath. We rush, react, overthink, and all the while, our breathing becomes shallow, fragmented, almost mechanical. And what we don't realize is that every time we ignore our breath, we feed the very anxiety we're trying to escape. Carl Jung once said, "What you fail to bring to consciousness will appear in your life as fate." But what if your breath is the first place that unconscious tension appears? What if the anxiety you carry is not just a mental state, but the echo of a body you've abandoned? In this video, you'll learn how your breath shapes your mind, and how ignoring it keeps you trapped in loops of stress and fear. You'll discover how reconnecting with the breath, even for just 1 minute a day, can begin to unravel the internal chaos you thought was permanent. So if something in you already feels this is true, if there's a part of you quietly nodding as you listen, take a slow breath with me now. And if you're ready to explore what that breath can unlock, leave a like. Let this moment be the beginning of something softer, quieter, and more alive. Let's begin. Before your thoughts spiral, before your heart races, before your hands shake or your voice tightens, something much quieter happens. Your breath changes. It becomes shallow, rapid, stiff, almost as if your body is bracing for impact. This is often the first sign of anxiety, and yet it's the last thing most people notice. When you disconnect from your breath, you lose your anchor. You float into the future. You sink into past memories. Your body, sensing abandonment, shifts into survival mode. What's tragic is that this happens silently. No alarm goes off. No one teaches you to pause and ask, "What's happening in my breath right now?" But this disconnection has consequences. When you ignore your breath, your nervous system stays in defense mode. Your mind interprets that as danger, even when you're just sitting in a quiet room. This creates a loop. Anxiety alters your breathing, and broken breathing reinforces the anxiety. It's not weakness, it's wiring. And the more you ignore that wiring, the louder the symptoms become. Not because your body is against you, but because it's trying desperately to be heard. And yet, the moment you remember your breath, the moment you come back to it without trying to change it, something begins to shift. Not just in your lungs, but in your mind, in your heart, in your entire sense of being. Your breath is not just air, it's information. It's the first place your soul whispers, "I need you to pay attention."
You weren't born disconnected. You didn't come into this world with shallow breath or tight lungs. You learned it. You learned to hold your breath in classrooms where silence was expected. You learned to suppress your emotions in places where tears were inconvenient. You learned to ignore your body in a world that praises speed, noise, and constant productivity. Modern life rewards the mind, fast, sharp, reactive, but it forgets the body, slow, sensitive, wise. And in that forgetting, we begin to drift. Smartphones buzz, notifications blink. We scroll endlessly, unaware that each shallow breath is a signal. I'm overwhelmed, but I'm pretending I'm fine. Our culture doesn't just ignore the breath. It trains us to override it. We drink coffee instead of resting. We hold our stomachs in to appear confident. We speak quickly to fill silence. All of it slowly disconnects us from the most ancient part of ourselves, And what's the cost? A nervous system that's always activated, a mind that can't slow down, a heart that feels distant, even from itself. But here's the quiet truth. Your breath has been waiting, patiently, through the noise, through the chaos, through the years of forgetting. It doesn't punish you. It doesn't judge you. It simply whispers, "Come back." Because every moment you reconnect with your breath, you reclaim something essential. Not just calm, but clarity. Not just stillness, but self.
Anxiety feels like it comes out of nowhere, but the body knows. It always knows. And while the mind tries to explain, fix, or escape the discomfort, the breath offers a different path. One of stillness, one of presence. You can't argue your way out of anxiety, but you can breathe your way back into safety. Every breath is a message to your nervous system. Fast and shallow says, "I'm in danger." Slow and deep says, "I'm okay now." And the beautiful part? Your body responds immediately. You don't need hours of meditation. You don't need to be calm to begin. You just need a moment of intention. Try this now. Breathe in slowly for 4 seconds. Hold it gently for 7. Exhale for 8. Then pause. Feel the difference? This is called the 4-7-8 breath. It's a simple way to interrupt the anxiety loop, not by force, but by rhythm. By sending a clear, gentle signal to your entire system. You're safe. You can soften. Another practice, just notice. Notice where your breath stops in the body. Is it stuck in the chest? Does it feel blocked in the belly? Place your hand there. No fixing, just feeling. This is the beginning of reconnection. The breath becomes a mirror, and in that mirror, you start to see the tension, the fear, the exhaustion, not as enemies, but as messages that were waiting for your presence. You don't need to master the breath. You need to meet it, gently, often, without expectation. That alone can shift more than you realize.
Healing doesn't come from intensity. It comes from repetition, from the quiet moments when you choose presence again and again. And your breath is always there, waiting for that choice. That's why creating a daily ritual, even if it's just 2 minutes, can change everything. Not because it fixes you, but because it reminds you you were never broken, just disconnected. Each morning, before reaching for your phone, pause. Feel the breath enter. Feel it leave. Place a hand on your chest or your belly. Let the body know, I'm here now. No pressure to calm, no goal to achieve, just a meeting. You and your breath. Throughout the day, you can return. Between meetings, while standing in line, right before sleep. Even placing a small reminder somewhere, a note that simply says, breathe, can bring you back from the edge of the spiral. And over time, that pause becomes sacred because it's no longer just about oxygen. It's about awareness. It's about choosing to be present in a world that pulls you away from yourself. Breathing becomes an act of rebellion, of healing, of remembering who you are beneath the noise. Not as a concept, but as a rhythm, alive, here, now. Let's return to where we began. You're breathing, but are you aware of it now? Can you feel how even just a few minutes of presence, of truly listening to the breath, can change the way your body holds itself? Your anxiety isn't a flaw, it's a signal. It speaks in tension, in tight lungs, in restless nights. and the breath is its language. The more you ignore that language, the louder the body must speak. But when you begin to listen, gently, daily, the conversation changes. So ask yourself, where does your breath get stuck when life feels overwhelming? What have you been holding that your breath is trying to release? What part of you is asking not to be fixed, but to be felt? You don't need to do this perfectly. You just need to remember, and then remember again. If this video helped you pause, even for a moment, leave a like. Not for numbers, but as a sign to yourself, you're choosing to be present. And if you're ready to go deeper, there are 2 videos on the screen now. One will help you explore the connection between breath and the shadow self. The other will guide you into the power of a single conscious breath to transform your entire inner state. Choose the one that speaks to you, and I'll meet you there in the next breath.